Reporter Michelle Rimmer joins us now from the streets of Windsor. Michelle, we know that crowds have been asked to stay away due to the pandemic, but does it seem to you that they have heeded that advice?
Good evening, Anton. It's still quite early in the day here in Windsor. However, at this stage, it does appear that people, for the most part, have heeded that advice due to the coronavirus pandemic. The royal family has asked people not to come to Windsor Castle today or to any of the other royal palaces. They've been told that if they want to leave a tribute, there's an online book of condolence where they can do so. If they want to watch the service, then to do so on television at home.
As the world watched the events inside Windsor Castle, on the street outside, a devoted crowd gathered to pay their respects.
First, we want to show the world how much love and respect we have for the royal family itself.
Because I love them, I love them.
For the small crowd gathered here in Windsor, today was a chance to pay their respects, to show their support for the Queen and to thank Prince Philip for his years of service as the Duke of Edinburgh. As this second wave gathers pace across the continent, much of Europe is now facing a coronavirus crunch point. With lives, liberties and livelihoods at stake, how each government acts now could have lasting consequences.
A not-so-silent night in London. Streets filled with shoppers and those making the most of a final meal out before England's toughest restrictions set in. Senior politicians from the UK's four nations met to discuss whether they'll go back on their promise of a Christmas reprieve. Europe has now recorded more than 7 million coronavirus cases, as experts warn hospitals could reach capacity within weeks. Case numbers have jumped by a record high of more than 39,000 new infections. It seems that a Brexit trade deal is on the verge of being reached.
And is there any indication that the country will now unite behind this deal?
Well, Anton, the uniting sentiment is that any deal at this stage is better than no deal.
Michelle, what's the latest concerning the emergency there?
Anton, fire crews here are on high alert for a second night in a row. Some questioning how such a cut would impact Australia's economy. The MP behind the refugee medical evacuation bill says it's all part of a scare campaign.
It's a scare campaign on steroids.
Dr. Phelps says of the 1,000 refugees who remain in offshore detention, only around 70 actually require urgent medical attention.
Good evening, Michelle. The news came last night, your time, but what's the feeling like there as Londoners wake up this morning?
Good evening, Janice. Well, US politics is once again front page news here in the UK. The Sunday Telegraph this morning has quoted the new president-elect. It's time for America to heal. There's some hope now that Europe can really re-engage with the US on these key global issues as America's foreign policy approach. It adapts from an America first focus to a more multilateral agenda.